Welcome, everyone, to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 31, and I'm Altai, joined by...
Omer?
Big Gumble.
And Matt.
All right.
Get wrecked.
So this is actually the first episode of the podcast that we are live streaming, and we'll be uploading around... this first episode we're live streaming, so for future shows, if you want to watch it while we're doing it, ask us questions while we're doing the show, just follow us on twitch.tv/RemoteMMOs. That we will eventually make a podcast-specific channel eventually. But yeah, how was everyone's week so far, guys?
It's going.
I just got to make history by interrupting Sean at the beginning of our first live podcast, so I'm good.
Any other interesting events going on with you guys?
This past week, I have been live streaming my review of Devilian on Twitch, and it's coming together nicely. It's been fun. A lot of clacking away. All
right, Gumby. I need to ask you for on the spot 1.7 to 1.93 review for Devilian in that range.
Let's hear it.
1.81293.
All right, solid answer.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. It's all right. It's a good distraction amidst an MMO drought, you know. But when Path of Exile's next expansion comes out, if you like ARPGs, you'll probably go for that instead.
Do you still feel like Path of Exile is like the gold standard of ARPGs right now?
I mean, after what I saw in the upcoming expansion, I would say that they're about to set the gold standard for mixing puzzle mechanics and top-down action combat. I think they're gonna set the new standard. You know, even beyond D3, which is very mob heavy. So we'll see how it turns out, though.
All right, good. I've been doing a little bit of live streaming myself as well. Did a little bit of League, as well as First Assault, and a little bit of Brawlhalla this week. I've been live streaming way more than usual. Usually, around nighttime. So that's been my week. Matt?
That's good.
I saw Star Wars. That's about it. It's been a boring week for me. I've been running around. It's holiday season.
All right. Well, since you brought up Star Wars, okay. I mean, we don't want to do any spoilers. 'Cause I think a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but I want a 1 to 10 out of people that have seen it so far in here.
Okay, I'll start with me. I saw it. I thought it was just like an action movie. It didn't really live up to the name for me, so I'll give it like a 6 or 7.
Matt?
I'm gonna give it a 6. It's just another generic action movie to me. It's there's nothing special about it. They brought back the old characters, but they don't feel like themselves. It's an action adventure movie.
All right. I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I enjoyed it. I mean, I went into it, with pretty low expectations. Perhaps that's why I had a little bit more of a surprise. I expected it to be a disappointment, but I enjoyed it, and it wasn't the best movie, but a solid 8. And I guess we can talk more about specifics in a later podcast. Because still, so many people have not seen it. So
I don't know. I just get the feeling they didn't really capture what was great about Star Wars, and the one really tragic moment in it really defined how little they knew about it, because it just it came up and I'm just like, it just happened. I mean, I wasn't upset, I wasn't sad, I wasn't even angry. It just kind of
I agree with that. I think I know what you're talking about, and I agree. I actually talked to Tomer about that a lot.
All right. Somebody actually in the chat just said, my wallpaper is a screen clip of Remo looking at the girl slap her own ass on Skyforge. He's a true fan. That was actually one of my I would say one of my favorite videos for MMOs.com. It's 34 seconds long. Somebody linked it if you want to put it on.
Let's do it, boys.
It's only 34 seconds long, and I was having a lot of fun with the character creator there.
I just want to point out that is exactly why Skyforge won MMORPG of the Year, was simply that the girl slaps her own ass. That is how we judge our games, and we're looking forward to next year's winner.
So actually, we should talk quite a bit about... We should talk about the Game of the Year awards, because let's see it on the... Oh, there you go. We should talk about the Game of the Year awards, because we just actually put those out recently for MMOs.com.
We did. I got to put that together. That was fun. We didn't take it as seriously as other sites. Because Game of the Year awards, we just wanted to have a little fun with it. But our rewards do stand true. The games that were chosen are pretty much left the best impression within their category. It was a weird year for MMOs, though. We saw more games being discussed that are coming out in 2016 than 2015 itself.
We saw more games shut down in 2015 than come out in 2015.
Wait, so what does everybody on this podcast think about Skyforge being the Game of the Year? I know it got a lot of heat from some people on RMORPG and a few other places.
Okay, if we don't count games that went free to play, like they were already out, we don't count games with expansions like Guild Wars.
Those.
Okay, so then yes, I agree. Skyforge was Game of the Year, MMORPG wise. Not game-wise, but MMORPG-wise.
MMORPG-wise, yes.
Yeah.
I think it brought back Phantasy Star Online, basically. It turned it into an endless grind from hell, but it brought back the same kind of like feel that Phantasy Star Online had, and then added to it.
And I completely agree. I feel like a lot of people were overly critical. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, you made this trash game the game of the year. You guys suck." And then I actually posted on Reddit like, "Okay, do you have any suggestions for what should have been game of the year?" You know, I said this year was kind of dry for big MMORPG releases. You know, we're not counting games that went free to play, games that launched this year. Once I said that, people realized, wait a minute, there really weren't that many big releases this year.
Yep. If we're gonna go free to play, converted, then for me it's Guild Wars 2.
I agree. But that, again, that doesn't count.
Right. For this category, yeah, I know.
And that came out in 2012, so I mean, I don't think it should be included regardless.
Whoa, free to play game of the year, okay? It's a reset.
But nothing changed. I mean, it just added an expansion. I mean, it's not like
Well,
WildStar where they completely revamped.
I would not have played it
and
if it didn't go free to play. That's why, okay?
Agreed. You do know that Guild Wars 2 did get Best MMORPG Expansion almost exclusively for that reason. Because they went free to play, they were able to boost their player base, they have a solid core game, and I think that they're setting a new precedent for how you invigorate a buy-to-play game. And, you know, I'm sure plenty of people bought the expansion that never would have even tried it had the game stayed buy-to-play.
100%.
Base game stayed buy-to-play.
And at the same time, they added more grind than you could possibly imagine to the expansion.
Nice.
Right. There's one part about Guild Wars 2 and the free-to-play version that nags me the wrong way, and I guarantee it nags Aaron as well. If you didn't buy the game or buy the expansion, you did a limit on the auction house. I thought it was really stupid. Like, you couldn't sell a lot of your gear.
Okay, so that probably would have nagged me if when I get higher end.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, even though I have the expansion, I don't bother selling. I just destroyed my gear because it's like it's like 2 silver, 1 copper. Who cares?
I know. Early game, it makes no difference.
It makes no difference.
But that was the only part that bothered me, like with the free-to-play conversion. I mean, you can't blame them. They still want to make money and sell the game, obviously. But if you're gonna make like all the content free, don't like sideline players like that on like one aspect of the game, which I feel like it would have been nice if they just made that part free to play as well.
All right, so I have a little one technical issue first. Is the stream buffering for anyone else? For me,
Yes.
it's working fine.
It buffered for me a couple times.
Really? Okay. So we have to play with the settings next time. So there's a test run, guys, for the stream. And I have another point about Guild Wars with the auction house. What do you guys think of the fact that you can just right-click an item in the middle of the field and just sell it in an auction house? I don't like that.
It doesn't break my sense of immersion.
It
It's a
breaks my-
game, and it works fine. I like it.
I don't like it.
For a game focused on grind, to keep your bag space down, I don't think I mind either.
Well, I mean, then what's the point of even like I don't know? Just if it's sci-fi, I mean, it kind of like they could explain it away with like digitize me,
please.
but whatever.
It's magic. End of story.
There you go. Yeah, you have
good.
wizards in
That's
the
true.
game.
There's a group of wizards, the Wizards of Commerce, and they channel their powers and make the items get TP'd to the auction house.
We got huge buffer problems. Did you set what are your stream settings on?
Okay, I have it set the same settings that we record at. That's why.
That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a problem.
I
I told you to put a 3500.
How would that be better than 1,000?
No, because you have to disable all the other stuff.
Oh.
Anyway, we'll worry about that later.
Okay.
I guess it'll be a little bit buffery. Sorry about that, guys, but it'll be fixed for next time, and then it won't be laggy when we put it on YouTube. So
Yeah, and you guys will can hear it tomorrow fully.
plus all your questions and stuff that you guys talk, we will definitely look at them too. All right, somebody brought up a question. Well, first let's finish up the Guild Wars discussion because you were saying you were complaining about that aspect of the game, but what about quick travel? You could quick travel from anywhere in Guild Wars by clicking M and basically clicking anywhere you've been to a waypoint. Is that a problem for you, Mr. Immersion?
Okay, that's not a problem for me.
How?
And how?
Keep in mind, you could just quick travel to the main city and use the auction house that way. If you have no problem with it.
Yeah, but still, at least that way, I feel like I'm leaving the zone. I'm going to a different zone.
So it's a loading screen that just sells you on the immersion.
That
Yes.
breaks immersion. That breaks the grind. Breaks my mentality. Oh, I gotta sell now. I was built to grind. I got the hat. I'm built to grind. I don't want to stop. I don't mind.
But I don't know, that's a good question.
You're nitpicking.
Maybe, but again, like you said, the teleporting didn't break my immersion. It didn't come into my mind, but somehow right-clicking sell to auction house did. So
Maybe because it's new and it's novel.
maybe.
Maybe you just nitpicking is what I'm getting at over here.
I don't know.
I do
I
want to
would,
point out that we also have the best category in our Games of the Year, which is Best Chinese Knockoff Game. And I think we're setting a new standard for Game of the Year posts, which was Tiny Mighty Heroes Unite, a great browser game with Magnet Man, Hurricane, and Mind Reader as the main heroes. So, MMOs.com, paving the way to the future. I didn't mean to cut you off, Matt. I'm sorry. I was passionate. I was captivated by passion.
Oh God. No, I was just gonna say I would kill in most other games to have the ability to sell my items out in the field. Like kill.
It's such a convenient part about the game.
I don't know. I don't like it.
All right. Well, somebody asked what our favorite movie or board game of all time was. So
That's
let's throw that in there. Favorite movie, guys.
Groundhog Day.
I want a solid like this is my. I don't want like it's this or this. Okay.
That's not fair. Hierarchies are silly.
I want a number. I want a number one.
I gave you one.
I haven't considered this in a long time, and it's,
Matt, you have 10 seconds for an answer.
I don't have an answer in
9,
10 seconds.
8, 7, 6, 5. You better get an answer. Otherwise, it's gonna be Spy Kids 2. 4.
Oh, dear God.
3, 2, 1. All right, Matt wants Spy Kids 2. Next, Sean.
All right, I'll give you a limited category. My favorite fun movie, like if you want to watch a movie just to have fun, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That is my favorite fun movie. I can watch that anytime.
That's an odd genre. Fun movie.
Fun movie, like a movie you just watched, like just casually you want to have fun. Like when I was grinding in WoW, I must have watched Raiders of the Lost Ark countless times. So,
Did you have it on loop while you were grinding?
No, I would loop through all 3 movies and then I'd come back. That's
That
how
is
I roll,
odd.
right?
Wait,
So there's too many. I mean, the movies are so broad. I can't pick one of all time.
Well,
You want me to pick Synecdoche, New York? Is that what you want to hear? Huh?
that's what I'm waiting for.
Synecdoche, New York?
I don't know if it's based on what I've actually been able to watch the most amount of times without hating it. I've seen Lord of the Rings trilogy like God knows how many times on TV, and I can still watch it. So
Anytime you can watch a movie multiple times is definitely a good sign.
Good sign.
I guess that's as close to a favorite
Yeah.
as you can get me within 10 seconds.
Well, you've already sold on Spy Kids 2 as far as I'm concerned. But I'll round it off with Shawshank Redemption. I've seen the movie at least like 6-7 times, and it's still
okay.
watchable.
Okay, guys, I want to move on. We were talking about Star Wars earlier, movies. I want to. This is the one of the best articles on MMORPGs I read this week. Basically, it's about emulation projects around Star Wars Galaxies. So Star Wars Galaxies was actually an original game, like original MMORPG, before they made it all like cookie cutter and then they closed it. So if you guys are interested in old games, like I know a lot of us are, we still play like WoW, classic servers, Ultima Online private servers. It's a good read. Recommend it to you guys.
So, on the Spark Notes wise, is a Star Wars Galaxy private server happening?
Interestingly, there are currently 8 projects going
To make one.
to make one. 8
But there's not a single one.
They exist, but like you know, like those old WoW private servers, like where like the bosses didn't like do their abilities on you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like that. It's like the world is there, but like it doesn't really function.
So but they have the world there. They have the server stuff working. It's just that it's got to be polished.
Yeah. I don't know how long it's gonna take.
I mean, I think one of the biggest like private server communities I've seen just really get huge was EverQuest. I mean, I followed Ragnarok Online obviously as well. I mean, I think at one point one of the emulators is called like Yet Another Ragnarok Emulator or something. But I mean, EverQuest is a really vibrant private server as well, community as well. At least it did in the past when I was playing it.
Well, there's some sweet video right here of
mean-
Star Wars Galaxies. If you guys haven't seen the graphics in this awesome game.
On the bright side, these already exist, whereas Matrix Online and Tabula Rasa and Chronicles of Spellborn, which have like private server projects, they're probably never going to exist.
Why would anybody want to play Chronicles of Spellborn? I remember playing that when it came out. It felt so dead even back then.
Well, PvP in that was really even because gear didn't matter at all. It was all aesthetic.
All right, transition. I guess it's somewhat sci-fi related, but you keep playing that for now though. It's fine. Somebody asked in the stream too if we've heard about the guy who was suing Bethesda, and have you guys heard about that?
Yes. I think he's gonna set a new precedent for suing people.
I don't know. There's some ridiculous suits out there.
Okay, so this is the one about the Fallout 4 addiction, right?
Yes.
Let's get
Okay,
an
I had a
overview of
friend-
what's going on.
I had a friend explain it to me today, and he's basically like, okay, so the lawyers took it on because this guy is like lost like $7,000 because of addiction to Fallout or something, and his lawyers just basically went, "This has never been done before, but fuck it, we're gonna try it."
Wait, how do you lose 7,000? Isn't it like a buy? You just buy it with $60, you're done.
He said he didn't know how addicting it was. He lost his job because he just play all day.
Oh, well, his job's only worth 7,000.
No, he's in Russia.
His time, his
Oh.
time that he's put in is
Yeah.
only worth 7,000.
Plus, he's in Russia, and the guy is suing Bethesda as well as the studio that localized the game in Russian. So they're suing two people at once. You know, if you're gonna sue somebody for bullshit, you might as well sue two people for the same bullshit.
This reminds me of the parents that played WoW and they forgot to feed their baby. I mean, some people just, I guess some people just shouldn't be allowed to play games. I don't know. It's called I don't know, self-awareness or being an adult. I'm not really sure what the answer to this is. This guy sounds like he's just looking for a quick buck, or he's really that stupid. I'm not sure. It's one or the other.
But what gives
If
us?
he
Yeah, go ahead.
If he lost his job because of playing a game too much, he might just really be that stupid.
Whoa,
Completely agree.
guys, we have to settle this. All right. So, Sean, I've been seeing you stream Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Final verdict: is it addictive? Boom.
I mean, what kind
The
of
same way like
question is
chocolate
that?
is probably addictive. It tastes great, and I would love to just
all right.
keep
Well,
eating it all
basically,
day
I'm
till I
asking:
die.
is it a good game? Is it worth my $60? I haven't played a Fallout game since 2.
All right, it's only a good. I mean, if you've played Fallout 3, then you know what you're getting yourself into.
No, I
It's
haven't.
worth it.
2 was the last
then,
one I played.
Then I'm not sure because it's a different type of game.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
it's a-
let me explain what Fallout 3 was. Take Skyrim, make it a little worse, and set it in Fallout setting.
bullshit.
And that's-
Skyrim sucked.
Skyrim was solid. Okay.
Skyrim sucked.
No.
Yeah, it sucked.
Sean, put up those.
And I'm a
nukes.
Morrowind fan too. Skyrim sucked. I'm sorry. Hated
This
it.
sounds really like a hipster argument right now.
That's dismissive.
Okay, I got an
That's
idea.
dis-
I got an
that's
idea.
like claiming it's not journalism. All right,
No,
go ahead.
I got an idea.
But you're not saying why. You just said it sucked.
I can settle this dispute
I'll-
factually with no opinions.
Go write an
involved.
editorial.
Okay, here we go. Whichever game sold more is better.
Well, Fallout 4 sold a lot.
Let's see. Well,
Skyrim probably sold
Skyrim
Let the
more.
probably
market
sold more.
decide.
let the market decide. All right.
Well,
Skyrim's been out for a lot.
Skyrim's
longer,
been out for
too.
years.
But okay,
Shots
so,
fired.
all right. It sold over 20 million copies. All right.
Which one?
Pretty Skyrim.
Okay, but what's the revenue? Because a lot of people like me bought it for like $10, Legendary Edition, and they never opened it.
Okay, we'll find out when the game their sales settle down, and then we'll know for sure. We'll let the market decide.
All right.
In one sense, I'll explain why I didn't like Skyrim. The world wasn't interesting to me. I get it; it's arbitrary. I liked Oblivion, loved Morrowind. Skyrim's world not interesting. That's all.
I didn't find Oblivion's world interesting at all. It was
I did.
boring.
Oh no, I loved it. Loved it. But art or subjectivity, I have no idea.
It just what gives this case a little bit of legitimacy with the lawsuit was it wasn't just a random guy suing them. He got clearly a law firm willing to represent them. So
Is he
the
paying
company's clearly saying basically they're going to take on the case most likely on contingency basis, meaning there's no upfront payment for the guy suing. So clearly they think they have a case. Otherwise they wouldn't waste their time. They tell the guy to go home.
That's interesting.
And-
That's really interesting.
And what's interesting, it didn't happen in America where you hear like this is lawsuit heaven, like capital of the world. It's happening in Russia.
My
So-
favorite lawsuit from Russia involves credit cards. So this guy got a credit card offer, right? What he did is he changed the wording in the contract, signed it, and sent it back. Then they issued the credit card. So then he maxed it out, and the change he put in was, I don't owe any money. This is for free. So then they sent him a bill. He said, hey, read the contract that I signed. It says I can do whatever I want. I don't have to pay you back. So now it went to court. I don't know what happened after that. But that guy's
That's
pretty smart.
brilliant.
The guy's he's trying to be slick. I'm not so sure his slick plays are going to work, but I got to give him some points for trying to be clever like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one way to try ripping off the credit card companies. Not that we encourage that kind of behavior on the stream. They're probably going to come after you.
That's your G2A.com.
Yeah, talk about ripping people off when you use G2A.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with G2A is a legitimate service as far as I'm concerned. All right, where
It's
they
a
get
little-
their keys, I don't ask questions. All right.
It's a legitimate service that has actively told developers that they're not removing them from their service, and they're not paying them either.
Look, Matt. If you give me a glass of water, am I gonna ask you, did you like murder someone's family to take this water from them? No, I'm gonna enjoy the glass of water. I assume the best in people, all right?
And how I know to make sure anytime Omer hands me something to find out whether or not he murdered someone's family. Good to me.
When I go to Pirate Bay, I assume Pirate Bay has permission to distribute all those illegal copies of games, movies, and everything.
Oh, whoa, Pirate Bay doesn't distribute it. Users distribute it. Pirate Bay is free from scrutiny.
And of course, people I'm downloading from, they have permission from the copyright holder, right? I assume that when I download.
A safe assumption. That'll definitely hold up in a court.
They didn't say they didn't have permission. That's my legal defense, sir. I rest my case. Let him go.
All right. So one day I want to launch. This is completely different. I want to launch the MMOs.com make a game initiative. All right.
Ooh.
And the way we can do that, Unreal's going to help us out here. They actually made a match 3 game on Unreal Engine, and they kind of made it live, right? Like there's a video tutorial on how they did it, so you can like learn as they do it. So if you guys want to get into game development or whatever, this might be your way in.
Wow, that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn how to make the most profitable kind of game, a match 3 game.
Then you can sell it to Blizzard for $5 billion.
We're talking about Fallout. Forget Fallout. Candy Crush is worth more.
Yeah, right?
So, also, if you want to get into game development, remember, it's hard. It's
lot
not
of work.
easy.
I imagine.
Yeah, look at all this work that goes into this match 3. Like there's like these charts, these flow charts going on.
It seems crazy difficult. Matt, you've had some experience in game development, right?
Yeah. It
And-
took me, like, almost a year to make, like, the simplest of arena fighters.
Dang.
Approximately, how long, like, how many hours do you think you put into that? Just out of curiosity.
For about 3 months, 8 to 10 hours a day.
Oh my god, that is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it made me about $20.
I mean, it's like that with a lot of, games. Like, it's like the 90-10 rule. Like 10%, like not even 10%, like the 99-1 rule. 1% of the games get 99% of the revenue. And everyone else fights for scraps almost.
I'll give you a cheeseburger for the rights to the game. Done?
It's probably worth about that much.
At least give him a Big Mac. Not a dollar burger. Come on.
It's just, you don't realize how much work goes into, especially like tweaking values for balance, until you've done it. You have to sit there, you tweak one number, you play the game to make sure that it feels right, and that takes about 10 minutes just for one playthrough. You tweak it again, you do it again, you tweak it again, you do it again, just over and over.
Wow.
It takes so much work.
So wait, did you do it by hand or did you use an engine?
I sort of used an engine. It was more of a framework called Hakespunk. It's based on Flashpunk. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Nope.
It was a huge indie Flash engine that got ported to Hex, which is basically Flash for native compiling targets.
Yes. I pretend I know it's...
Well, moving along a little bit, we have some interesting news from Paladins this week. Paladins they're sponsoring a $100,000 tournament for their game that's still in closed beta right now. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I know that I have a friend who's in that tournament.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think you know him too.
Yeah, I do know him, but I didn't know he was going to be entering this tournament.
Yeah, he
I
actually
knew was
posted
playing
something on
tryhard.
Facebook, like support us or something.
Oh, wow.
What I can say is this is great marketing, and all the money probably came from Smite.
Yeah, obviously. All their money comes from Smite. Everything Hi-Rez does comes from Smite right now. I wonder what Smite users think about that. Like, stop making other shitty games and focus on us. That's what they probably
No, I think they're happy with that the company's doing better now, and they can
Yeah, that's true.
spread the love. And I'm sure their focus is still on Smite.
That's their biggest moneymaker,
Yeah.
so I imagine so. But still, I mean, anytime they're doing stuff on other games, it still takes away resources from their game.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, Hi-Rez really did turn around their public image this year with the whole revamp of Tribes. I mean, they just went out of their way to focus temporarily on a game that was making them basically no money.
Yeah.
They bought a lot of goodwill for probably a very small amount of money. So that was a very smart move by them.
So speaking of Tribes, I know we were talking about it last week for Sunday Fun Day. Then we got sidetracked by Ghost in the Shell, which was a newer shooter.
Mhm.
But now, how about some Tribes for Sunday?
I'm
Yeah,
down with
sounds
Tribes.
good.
I like
That's
Tribes.
the plan.
All right, there you have
We
it,
get
guys.
wrecked.
Tribes
We can all
Sunday
ski
Funday.
around and have issues hitting people with discs because they're tiny little ants flying around at high light speed below us.
Tribes an intense game. That's for sure.
So how about we stream that one too, and that'll give us practice, or it'll give me practice on how to stream and record at the same time.
Yeah,
without...
I might have to do that because you failed on this one.
Oh well, whatever.
Rough life.
On the topic of goodwill, I want to talk about a little bit of an older issue now. I think a couple weeks old now, about Hideo Kojima leaving Konami.
Oh, really? We're gonna go there?
I want to go there because again, we were talking about goodwill, and
Go
I
ahead.
think Konami made a big mistake letting this guy go. I mean, I was arguing with one guy on Reddit about it, so that's what makes me want to bring it up. And it was most about goodwill because even if his games aren't that profitable, which I would argue still are profitable because they sold like how many million copies? How many millions of copies did they sell of?
I couldn't give you a number, but I can imagine it's hefty.
I mean, I gotta look this up now. They sold, I think, 5 million. Oh, they made $179 million in 24 hours. Okay. Okay, and that means they sold over 5 million copies. That's like 250 million, $300 million. The game they said took like they said over $80 million. Okay, is what an analyst said. I mean, obviously nobody knows for sure. So if your game took $80 million to make, or let's say 90, let's say 100, and if you sold $179 million in 24 hours, let's say you get half of that in gross revenue to the company. It's not gonna lose money, I don't think.
It also bolsters Konami's image just to have Kojima there, because now they're
Yeah.
like, oh, they associate quality with the parent company. Well, not really parent company, they associate quality with the company, and now they've kind of diminished their public image, at least in the face of
Gamers, yeah.
Gamers.
Well,
but
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, he can finish. I've cut
I
him
would
off.
say
so
I
many
think they
times.
just want to cash in on the mobile is the guess, right? They want more revenue, so they're gonna make some mobile game. They're gonna make their own Connect 3 with Solid Snake's face and push that. That's all.
All right, I think the real problem though is I saw a lot of people, and I really mean a lot of people, say that basically the only good thing about Konami was that they still had Metal Gear Solid. And now that Kojima's gone, what is Metal Gear Solid gonna be?
Does Konami
I'll
have
tell you what
any
it's gonna
other
be.
games?
It's gonna be a match 3 game for mobile.
All roads lead to match 3 knockoffs.
No, it's gonna be a top-down shooter exclusively for Xbox One.
All right, well, let's take our bets. All right.
I want to know what other like big franchises Konami even has in the gaming department, because presumably they're not shutting down the gaming department. They still have other stuff.
Actually,
they own Silent Hill.
They
That's
actually-
happening.
they actually
They
had a
have Castlevania.
That's true. They had a website where you could fans could go in and then like vote on which of their series they want to see focused on. I remember I participated. I voted for a JRPG series.
Suikoden.
Yeah, Suikoden. There you go.
That's a game. I would play a new Suikoden game. I think the last one was PS2 still. Suikoden 5. Solid game.
Oh, that's right. They have Pro Evolution Soccer, which just went free to play on consoles.
Ooh. That's a
You
big
know what
seller
I-
too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's not free to play, but it's got a free to play version.
It's a fun Konami game. Zone of the Enders. You guys ever play that? PS2?
I have not.
I played it on PS3.
I loved Zone of the Enders. I had tons of fun with the game. That's one of my favorite mech games. Highly stylish. I actually think Kojima worked on that game. Let's say that would explain. Yeah, he was the producer at least. I guess he didn't really directly work on it, but solid game. But yeah, I'm looking at what Konami has created, and all I see is a lot of Metal Gear. A lot of Metal Gear spin-offs.
Well, see, now what they're going to be making their money off of, looking at the list on the top of the Wikipedia page, is Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh,
Ooh,
Yu-Gi-Oh's a
you're
money
right.
All they're
maker.
doing.
Wow.
I can't believe I forgot about Yu-Gi-Oh! It's still a big franchise.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still a big franchise?
that was solid.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, there's still video game stuff going on. I don't think they were losing money on it, okay? And so I think they had an argument with the big bosses because clearly he was spending too much money, and they wanted to make a certain amount of profit on the game, which I guess they clearly didn't reach the profit goals they wanted to. But I mean, they lost a lot of goodwill from gamers. I mean, if they release new products, I think a lot of people are just not going to play it.
I think they made a decision before, a while ago to focus on mobile, and maybe Hideo Kojima just wasn't on board with that.
I'm sure he wasn't.
They
could have spun off the studio, sold the studio to somebody else. I think they left on pretty bad terms to the point where he just left. It wasn't the studio was sold, right?
I think he got to keep the name, right? Kojima Studios, whatever.
I don't know. Was Kojima was his studio independent or part of the company? I'm not even sure.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, we'll dig into that later. But we have some other industry news this week regarding probably a game I've played the most, League of Legends. Riot Games was bought out entirely by Tencent. The big money is.
Is that a surprise?
No, because
No.
I mean they bought I think a little bit over majority stake in 2011 for $231.5 million. So they already owned over 50%, and they bought the remaining however many percent they didn't have. And there's no price disclosed, but I would argue it's easily more than that because since 2011, Riot Games has easily grown more than double, if not more than that. So I think they pay at least another $400 million for the remaining half. So maybe more because this is the biggest PC game, PC game of all time basically on revenue. Maybe Sun Attack is a number 2 and Sunlight's number 1, so they're fighting for number 1 and 2. But it's a huge game.
Since I don't know too much, maybe some viewers don't either. Will this change the direction of League? In any which way?
No, it doesn't change it at all.
Well,
Matt?
Yep.
basically, my only thought on this, because I don't play League, is Garena is basically screwed now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because now they can just consolidate themselves and handle it. I mean, because Tencent operates in a lot of places too.
Speaking of League, I actually played 2 games last night. I won both.
Normals or
Normals,
ARAMs?
normals. And I did well. I got it. Actually, I don't know when they added this, but League has a really cool feature now. After the game, you hover over like this box. It tells you your grade. It gives you a grade
Yeah, your
between
performance with that hero.
S, A plus, B, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I got S
That's
class
fun.
with Malphite.
Ooh.
I was
Game
like
is trying to
8.
make you feel better.
Whoa. You mean everyone doesn't get? Everyone gets an S?
No. It depends on performance. So clearly you did well that game.
Yeah.
Riot Games, man, is a part of the big Chinese conglomerate now. The Chinese-owned Riot.
All right. Here's something you guys might not know. So Riot, we say it's owned by Tencent now. Do you guys have any idea how big Tencent is in Western gaming?
No, Western Gaming, just right, I thought.
They own 40% of, get this, Unreal.
Really?
Wow.
Isn't that unreal?
What?
That's
You guys-
unreal.
Well, Epic Games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
So wow, Tencent is a monster. I mean, they own a lot of companies. I knew they own a lot of like tech companies. I know they own a lot of like gaming related companies in the West.
They in 2012 they bought 40% for $330 million.
Wow.
So they're they got their hands in a lot of pots out here. So if you're playing games on an Unreal Engine, which you probably are, you're giving Tencent some money.
Giving them
That
your 10
company
cents.
alone is
How
bigger
does
than
that make
all
you
of
feel?
U.S.'s economy.
You're destroying America.
So just also puts things into perspective. I think Tencent is worth over $200 billion. I'll give you an actual figure right now, but I don't have the number in front of me. But I'm going to pull it up. I know I'm pretty sure it's over 200 billion. That's absolutely massive. I mean, I think that's one of China's biggest companies. All right, they're worth 9.4 billion yuan. This is Hong Kong dollars. It has to be more than this. No, 9.4 times this. All right, 1.4 trillion Hong Kong dollars. Which is how many billions of US dollars? 180 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of cheddar.
That's
Tencent
a
owns
huge
50%
gaming
of my
company.
brother.
Ha.
That's what this guy said. Come on, why are you not a mod on here?
I don't know.
I'll make you an OP user too, so you can be OP.
I think chat broke. I'm stuck at shots fired.
No. Let's move on to something a little bit controversial on MMOs.com. We had an article by one of our writers discussing MMO Founders Packs, and you guys know how much I love Founders Packs.
Uh-oh.
Here we
So-
go.
There we go.
So
Big
what's
can
the
of
message of
worms.
the article? Please elaborate.
Okay, Aaron, you wanna give us a message of the article?
The message of the article?
Yeah.
Okay, so well, as the title says here, are MMO Founders Packs anti-consumer? See, when you have a question mark in the title, then it just means yes, I think. Or at least that's the argument of the
For
author,
the
right?
most part, you're right.
Except that he didn't actually come to a conclusion.
No, but this stirred up some controversy on the comment section
that's
here.
the proper pronunciation.
I mean,
Mostly about his choice of words.
Yeah.
That's distracting from the argument. Let's stick with the core of the argument here.
we'll get to that too. I mean, I think he made a few, like, he's clearly against founders packs, and I know Aaron replied to the article as well, and I thought he had something worth saying. If you want to read what your comment was.
Oh, well, my point was I do think they're anti-consumer in the sense that they confuse the customer. Like, I know that I play games, like free-to-play games. If they're on Steam, I'll try them quicker, right? Because it's just fewer steps to play. But if a game is coming out and there's like this tier, that tier, early access, closed beta access, founders access, it's too confusing. I just skip it, all right? It's not worth my hassle. So the more barriers we had for a game, the less likely people are to try it. So you should monetize after. You should make it as easy as possible to get a game, and then monetize after, I believe. So founders packs kind of get in the way of that, in my opinion.
Well, I think you could say the same of any game with a lot of DLC, though. I mean, when you're putting out a lot of content, especially for games with like Evolve, where you're putting out playable characters left and right, it's confusing. Like, what
definitely.
do you buy, or do you buy all of it? I mean, it's not just something specific to Founders Packs, and it's just kind of... And, I mean, you can even say it about free-to-play games. I mean, you have to buy this currency and then buy God knows what with this currency, and there are all these items that do this or this.
But you're not aware of any of that when you first try it because it's free. And same with DLC. Like, when I see a game, okay, it's $5 for this game, and if I scroll down, there's all the DLC packs. But I don't even look at that. I either buy the game or not. And then after I learn the game, maybe I need this DLC. Oh, maybe I need this currency. You know, it should be that way. Or like the Founders Pack. They usually come with like bonuses in the game, like mounts or whatever. I should play the game and then realize, oh, maybe I want this, this mount or whatever.
Well, really,
Yeah, my only.
I lost track.
Okay, my only problem is what Erhan said too. Okay, when the game is not released yet, and they're selling all these goodies for a game I've never played yet. I mean, they promised me all these goodies in the game that's worth, they say, estimated value $300 for only $100. What a deal! But like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this mount. Like, I don't even know. I'll know what it looks like, and that's about it. But they give you like a huge list of items sometimes that they have really no meaning to me. It's confusing. Ultimately, yeah. I want to play a game, and if I like it, let me buy the extra stuff. And you could say selling all the extra stuff is anti-consumer, but at least I'll have an informed decision at that point whether I want to or not. It just feels like, obviously, it's advertising. They're selling hypes. I mean, there's nothing illegal or like inherently wrong with it. It's just I don't like it.
I think there is an issue, right, with Founders Packs where Founders Packs have motivated this trend in providing less content to free users as a way of motivating the Founders Packs, whether it be through bag space or convenience items. And if you've never played the game again beforehand, how do you know what the actual playthrough is going to be? Like Devilian. I always bring up bag space. Devilian, I got 4, bag slot tickets for having the Founders Pack, but without it, I'm completely limited. So now your developers are motivated to put in these annoyances to motivate you to spend cash on the Founders Pack. And you read through this large list, and like you said, I don't know what I want, right? I'm buying into a product, I have no idea. Now I bought it, now cognitive dissonance kicks in, and now I have to like it, right? But I don't really know what I'm purchasing. Yeah. It's like I don't buy shoes. Well, okay, that's a bad example. Like I got nothing, but I don't buy...
You got nothing.
I don't buy I want to sit on the couch first, right? I want to see how comfortable it is at the bed. Some product.
I like the picture I had showing on the stream right now in the podcast. This for the Albion Online Founders Pack. You can see the Legendary, Epic, and Veteran tiers, and you can see the cost of each one. Mm-hmm. So you can see between Veteran and Epic, there's a $20 price difference. However, like what they're really selling is just 1 day access, like the difference in closed beta access. Like there's 3 tiers of closed beta access. They had like a few days apart from each other. So what bothered me was almost like, I think in economic terms they call it a price discriminating monopoly. We're getting technical over here.
Whoa.
It's technical.
We're getting technical.
Khan Academy.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, they could do it obviously, but I still feel that's if that's really the only value they're selling, it adds confusion, and I think in a way it's anti-consumer.
Well, see, one of the points I raised though is it's clearly not about the money, because if they sold as well as people think they do, then every pay-to-win free-to-play mobile browser game would have started doing founders packs ages ago.
They are now. They're all
But
following. They're all following like the recent trend.
Well, some are, but
Yeah.
the majority are still doing pre-registration as an exclusive thing where you can pre-register and based on your social media like sharing, you'll get exclusive items from pre-registration. But that's a far cry from a founders pack. So a few might be doing founders pack, but the majority still haven't done it because it's really not making that much money.
Okay.
But what the real thing I think they are for is they're for people that have played the beta and want a good deal on a game they know they're going to spend a lot of money on.
Okay, you're right, and I think you're right and wrong. In many cases, you're correct. I mean, there's good size to founders packs too, but saying they're not making a lot of money is iffy. And I think the comparison to browser games is not entirely fair because a lot of these Chinese browser games are just straight up money grabs, and they're just monetizing as many ways as possible. And there is a friction between paying for browser games. It's really how many browser games out there that cost money? There was one, if I remember correctly.
I think you guys haven't read a lot of articles about how much people spend on Farmville and like Clash of Clans.
Oh, they do, I know, but those are mobile games. Mobile games are making a killing. But if you want to talk about revenue, how much money did this game make? Did Albion Online make on founder pack sales? They said they had 60 million,
60,000 sales.
60,000 sales. Let's multiply by the.
Do the mid-grade one.
Do the mid-grade 50. So what's that? I'm brain derping here.
Well, but that's only one game. And
All right, let me bring up the
one
calculator, boys. Let me bring up the calculator. 60,000.
That's only one game. And this one has really sold itself in its marketing and its
3
like,
million.
promise
It's not bad.
of promise of bringing back old school sandbox gameplay, and a lot of people have been really hyped about it. And this has been more driven by hype than it has founders packs.
Okay, but I think we're missing one point, right? This is 2015. My personal thing is that this trend on founders packs is going to be in everything moving forward.
Yeah,
I get
I
that
think
this
so
year
too.
it's not in everything. I think that this year has set a precedent. I think any big title, and I also think that mobile games exist in their own bubble. That's an aside. But these, I think most games coming out now, they're all going to have founders packs because it's easy cash money. They can just bring it in. You know, founders packs are so easy. You're just generating keys. It's digital items. It's not, you know, they're not producing their ads. There's no loss to the companies to do it.
But it's like free to play. It's like last year we didn't, not literally last year, but like last year it was all subscriptions and pay for boxes, and now it's free to play because free to play is what's generating more money, whereas when it's a subscription all you get is that $15 a month and no one can pay anymore unless they pay for another account. It's just their way of trying to make more money, and it's not really hurting us. It's just kind of existing and giving us an option to buy into a beta, but otherwise we can just wait for release like before and moan about how we still can't play like we always have.
All right, well, let's take a small transition because, I mean, anti-consumer is a pretty strong word. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's as big of a deal as the article on the site made it out to be. So I mean, I understand it's not a good because players still ultimately have a choice. You don't have to spend the money. Like for Ghost in the Shell, I would not have bought the Ghost in the Shell early access beta. I would just wait till it comes free to play and I'll play it. And if I like it, I'll spend money on it.
Well, to be fair, the Ghost in the Shell founders packs are pretty bad.
Well, $5 is just to start playing. Forget the content you get. I mean, as far as I see, it's $5 to get access to the game. But we will talk anti-consumer. Here's a video I thought this demonstrates anti-consumer behavior more than anything else, and I thought this was pretty hilarious. I want you guys all to watch it here.
All right, let's see what this is.
This is the definition of anti-consumer.
I'm already sold. Super Monster Bros.
We might have the garbage.
Wow, IGN's site has changed.
Listen to the comment.
You have the name of this one, right? It's Super Monster Bros by Adventure Time.
I'm busy with an advertisement.
Ad block, bro.
You know, tweet that out.
Yeah,
That's
but
all 140 characters.
Hey,
right there.
if I use ad block, I'm going to end up using it on our site, and we're going to get no ad
Wow,
revenue.
right in there.
That's all right.
Confirm your in-app purchase. $100.
Start with this. What I was about to say. I tried to select this Pokemon to say this is a blatant Pokemon ripoff.
Right. Yeah, look at Skinny Bulbasaur over there.
Bulbasaur is $50. That's a value compared to the other
So
one.
each character, this Charizard looking guy is $100. This guy is $50.
Nice. I want to buy that. Go look at the little guy with the big nose.
What about the random caveman?
What is this guy?
How much is the caveman?
What's it cost?
He's only $5. What a
$5.
deal.
Whoa.
Is anyone free?
Yeah, the first guy's free.
Okay. Who?
Okay,
French
okay.
Charizard here?
Yeah.
French Charizard.
It's a joke.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. This is not the biggest.
This
piece
is pretty
of
fun.
garbage we've ever
Yeah, it looks okay.
Once you
Keep
get past the
watching.
paywall.
It looks like a 1990s.
seen. Coins, shooting dudes. Okay.
What was that? Nothing seems to. He didn't even fall there. All right.
Nice.
This dude has just a pact with God.
Oh, wait.
Oh no!
I'm out of ammo. Let's.
This
Do you want to buy 130 attack items for 99 cents?
Do you want to
This
buy
must have been made as a joke.
30 attack items? What is it?
this reminds me of that
That's
like
singular,
pimple
plural,
popping game
singular.
Like this attack.
that
button-
somebody
singular.
slowly
this attack button
raised
doesn't do
to
anything
like
now. I'm out of attack.
$400
flashes,
just to
though.
see if people would buy it.
Me hitting the button.
Oh, okay.
This is awesome.
But the point of this video is,
like you saw,
like
I was
one wrong
shooting
click,
fire.
okay, and there
Yeah,
goes
like
$100.
30 more of them.
It's really, you could easily make a mistake and buy, something without intending.
Well,
to.
it's aimed for kids who are just gonna use their parents' like iPad
Yeah.
and then just
You
click
have
yes to
jump
keep
HP
playing.
ammo. What
That's
does
true.
that mean?
Let's get
We'll just say unlock new role. Like,
$100 for jump HP ammo.
20 lives.
Wow.
okay, so that's the
no.
point of this. Point of
awesome.
the anti-consumer. I think a game like this is clearly
Yeah,
a
we're the
trap.
cops,
Okay, it's a
man. We're
shit
the
quality
actual
game
police.
that's purely just trying to monetize by taking advantage of kids who are playing on their mom's iPhone or their parents, like with their parents' iTunes account, so they can accidentally spend a lot of money.
Speaking of spending a lot of money,
Mhm.
Entropia Universe, $5,000 invisible armor.
Oh, I heard about this. And then-
It's literally just $5,000 invisible armor.
So can you actually see it?
No, you can't see it. All you do is sit there with your invisible armor and watch as you can see all your Under Armour instead.
Oh, it's
So-
not invisible. It's ethereal. All right, we get that. It's
Oh, you're
ethereal
right. It does
armor.
say ethereal.
Now that sounds nice. That's classy. That's drink a glass
you
of
can
wine.
You can just take off all your outer armor and get the same experience.
Okay, so I have
but
a
there are
question.
only 25 of these, so
Oh, so the company sound this because I think in this game I thought most things were like player made or something.
In this game, every single item in the game has real money value. So the way you get started is you either grind by collecting animal shit, which is what I tried to do, or which is that's serious, or you start spending money right away to try and make money. And Entropia has set the Guinness World Record for most expensive in-game purchases.
I've heard.
Any game.
Yeah.
A nightclub has sold for, I believe, 600,000 to
Oh, baby.
God.
But the
multiple investors.
craziest
Has broken up into different parts.
the craziest thing, that $600,000 was made back within less than a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I
you know what
think
they say.
Bought it for 100.
You got to spend money to make money.
Damn right. Capitalism rule 2. After buy low, sell high.
guys, I got an idea. We pool together our money. We create a founders pack, and we get money, and we buy a space station on Entropia Universe. All right, and we make lots of money. We'll raise money from our viewers and us. We pool our money together, and let's buy something crazy in Entropia Universe.
How about we
Boom.
make our own MMO? It's basically a blank Unreal map, okay? And then we sell people houses there. This is kind of what Shroud of the Avatar does. Like a year before they came to... the game is made on Unity, right?
Yeah.
But they just have big green plots of Unity, like, blank engine maps, and then they're selling you houses on it.
Oh my God, selling virtual houses. It used to be like, I'll sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. Now it's just like, I'll sell you the Brooklyn Bridge on a virtual
A
world.
virtual Brooklyn Bridge.
Well, there's quite literally infinite quantity.
It's like Star Citizen. Here's a planet. Let's sell you a virtual
Oh my
spaceship. But okay, it's worth it because your spaceship is so well modeled that you even have a crapper.
Oh, I did see that. I mean, yeah.
Also, I mean, we were talking about founders packs earlier too. I mean, like, what about a game like Shenmue 3, which is they raised a lot of money on Kickstarter. And it was Sony is publishing, I believe. So it just seems, I feel like the Shenmue example is more of like a pre-order kind of thing than a founders pack.
The problem with Shenmue though is Sony funded it and all, but like people still threw their money at it without doing any research. It's like Shenmue, yay, money.
Yeah.
It's the same thing every time Tim Schafer goes to Kickstarter, and he lets us down every single time.
But in a way, I kind of like that model where you can support the games that you want with like extra money like that. I think it works better for indie games, obviously. But what if like a big company like Sony, or let's say the Bandai Namco, they could be like, okay, there's a game
That
out
was
in
nice,
Japan.
that was
there's a game out of Japan. We're going to launch in America only if we reach $5 million worth of pre-orders. Otherwise, we're not going to localize it. It's not worth our time. But that seems like a win-win, you know? If it doesn't reach the goal, nothing, you know, whatever, it didn't cost you any money. If it reaches the goal, you get a game that you wanted anyway, and it would not have been created otherwise.
Well,
All right.
I kind of wish people would do that for
Yes.
localizations, because localizations are like the hardest thing to convince any company to do right now. It's so insane, it's not even funny.
Why is that? Just because you
Honestly,
don't know if it's
I
gonna be
have
successful?
no idea. I have no
You
idea.
have to set up the infrastructure, servers, and employ staff. Is that what it comes down? I mean, I guess it is a big investment. It's probably a bigger investment than you realize at face value.
Well, it's not even MMOs. Like any game, it's really hard to really make sure that they're going to have the localization. Like tons of petitions for games have failed.
Mm.
I mean, I've seen some really good localizations out there. I mean, like, have you seen the Ghost Stories localization? Okay, I mean, I have to throw this out there. We're gonna watch a couple minutes of Ghost Stories localizations over here.
You must have sent this to me a dozen times. You know that, right?
No, not
It's
this
blue
one.
water. It's blue water right now, but I swear at night it becomes redder than Republican Texas.
This is the background with Ghost Stories was localization. Apparently, they just told the voice actors, do whatever you want, as long as at the end like the kids win or something.
I just want to make sure that you're
It's-
saved. I am, and ever since I was saved, I've had the gifts, and I can sense this place is haunted. We can't leave Kaya still.
I don't care about your cat, he's probably dead.
And that's how the Funimation translation model was born.
This looks like such old anime. My
Yeah, but
goodness.
the doves are hilarious.
Kaya just showed up on the day.
This is too long. I don't want to watch all
We're
this.
gonna watch the whole thing.
Dead mother? You feel bad now? I can only hope she knew about Jesus.
It's been quiet for too long.
All right, but the point is that there are a lot of hilariously bad localizations.
I'll
out
link
there.
this in the side notes.
Yeah, this is
People
it's
can
worth
appreciate
watching.
it on their own.
It's definitely worth watching though. Quality localizations, I guess they cost lots of monies.
This is what Yokai Watch could have been.
Any other big news this week, guys?
I did want to bring up that Gigantic released some gameplay, the director's cut of the gameplay walkthrough right after that.
The
Sad
director's
news.
cut?
Yeah, it's called director's cut.
What does that mean?
It means, well, when a movie gets made and there's different cuts that the studio wants, and then they go back and the director recuts it the way he wanted it. That's the director's cut. So I guess, you know.
I didn't know that. I just
Yeah.
feel like I just thought you
Real match, real experts, real action.
Meet Team Synergy's heroes.
So isn't this the game that like is firing its staff before the game even came out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
16 members were let go last week or 2 weeks ago. I thought it was last week.
I love the game's art style though. It looks really pretty.
The cell shading reminds me of Samurai Jack. This might be a weird comparison, but because Samurai Jack when it came out didn't have black border lines on their objects, it was just the color, and that's what I think of when I look at this. It looks very pretty.
It also looks kind of like Paladins, but more cartoony.
It does look like Paladins. I thought that too. A
All
little
these
sharper. A
things
little
I think
sharper though, in my
aesthetic.
opinion. The graphics look sharper.
Much sharper.
Yeah, yeah.
Sharper image?
Much more colorful. The environments in this also look far more impressive.
They do.
Is going behind me?
Really detailed. I think this one is going to be, if it comes out, which I guess it's going to, I hope it's a success, and that the unfortunate news we heard is not a portent of more bad news. But between this, Battleborn I think has a very similar aesthetic to this, compared to, I guess Overwatch has its own cartoony style, and Lawbreakers is going to be more realistic. As realistic as Unreal Tournament or something.
Yeah, they do.
But given that the
Also-
genre it's in, it's still super competitive.
Super competitive.
It's
Okay,
a little-
so
Oh no, I can't say anything. Never mind.
how many shitty clones are we going to see of this type of game coming 2016? Just like we've seen lots of MOBAs, like Golden Rush and a few other games. I just can see small-time studios all trying to cash in on games like PAL, like the FPS MOBA, or whatever we want to call it.
Well,
Well,
actually,
people are already like convinced that Paragon is going to be a shitty game.
I mean, there's not enough information, so I don't know why.
We just saw one like very bland trailer for it. and-
very cinematic and well
Yeah.
and directed. We have no idea how far.
Well, they also had a little bit of gameplay.
Yeah.
That didn't count. I don't count that at all. That was totally staged. That's like when they show gameplay trails at E3 for Watch Dogs, and you come back to the game 2 years later and it comes out and it doesn't look anything like it. I don't count that.
Well, what,
You mean Aliens, Colonial Marines.
so what do we know about
Yeah,
this game? Paradigm it's called?
Paragon.
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 It was Unreal powered MOBA that we saw earlier. You said it was going to be mostly
Oh.
a tech demo.
Oh, yeah. This is the one by Unreal. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go that far.
I mean, here's also my big issue for all these games trying to break into the MOBA market. I mean, I think Super Data actually just retweeted this today, their older article about Blizzard being able to take on the MOBA market. And you can just look how saturated it is already. Like, look who's already dominating the space. Is there really room in this market where one guy just is destroying everybody? Is there room for
When
a
you look
game?
at charts like these, you got to remember it's skewed, right? So even though League here is wrecking, there could be, you know, unless we see some numbers, there could be plenty of competition in that lower tier.
We
You
have
know-
seen numbers, dude. I forgot what they were, but I mean, there were numbers out there. They're like more
I'm
than like
sure-
8 times the player base.
I think you're misrepresenting, because I think there is plenty of competition. They're just never going to make as much money as League of Legends or say Dota 2. But I think that they can compete amongst themselves and be successful. Depends on your measure of success. Will they ever take over the whole market? Absolutely not.
Yeah, then
But-
again, I mean, some of these small guys like Smite we were talking about, they do make money. They make good
Yeah.
money. That there is a market for the smaller games.
I wouldn't call Smite small.
No, Smite is not small. But consider, look, if you look at the chart, it's small in terms of active players.
This is relative, though.
Yeah.
It's relatively speaking small.
Okay, I'm sure a lot of studios out there would be so happy with that black line that Smite has.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
who
yeah,
ca-
definitely.
And who cares how big League is for them? As long as they're happy, you know, they're going to make their money.
Because they're profitable.
Yeah.
They can pay their people and keep doing what they want to do. I'm sure a lot of these companies are going to be just fine doing that. Again, I don't think anything can come in and sweep the competition in this arena. I don't see that as being possible. I mean, how much more could you improve on? At that point, you're changing the genre.
And at least Paladins and this Gigantic, it looks like they're trying something different. Whereas if you saw a game like Infinite Crisis last year, or earlier this year actually, I think, I mean, it shut down pretty quickly. It really didn't really push the genre at all. Whereas at least the newer games we're seeing are trying a little bit different stuff.
Do you think these new games are going to be grouped with League and Dota? Because
No.
mainly because it is its own category in a sense. It's 3D, it's FPS in a sense, or third person. It's kind of become its own genre.
You don't think Gigantic is a MOBA? You don't consider that a
No,
MOBA?
I think on one level it is a MOBA, but I don't think they'll be grouped. I don't think when people start making comparisons, you're going to compare it to League. I think
Do you
that they're-
compare Smite to League?
No,
Yes,
don't-
I do.
I think
I do.
I compare Smite to
I
League.
do.
Yeah.
I haven't played Smite, so I don't know.
But-
Smite is basically action-packed League.
Okay, and so
Yeah.
what is the difference between Smite and a game like Paladins and Smite and a game like Gigantic?
It's like, I know it when I see it, okay? Gigantic and Paladins are not the same as Smite, League, and Dota.
No, the relation between Smite and League is the same as between Paladins and Smite.
No.
The distance between them.
No.
I think
No,
that-
not even close.
Not even close.
a little bit close.
No. Disagree.
They're gonna be compared. Ultimately,
Well, I mean, you could compare Pong with Smite too if you wanted to. They're both video games.
That's a stretch.
Well,
That's a
see,
stretch.
what I've realized is that all that Paladins has in common with MOBAs is the character-based, objective-based gameplay. That's it.
Yeah.
It has nothing else
Yes.
in common. It's a completely different genre.
Yeah. Is Overwatch a MOBA because it's characters?
You have a lot of the similar mechanics. You have characters with abilities. You ultimately destroy their base to win. You
Oh,
have,
come
We
on.
had characters with abilities back on like the
Yeah.
PS2, but like
It's still a MOBA.
All right. Well, we'll have to debate this further one day. We're at
It's not an editorial.
we're at an hour 18 minutes in here. So
we can't
Really?
debate it in an editorial. All right. So
We'll debate it in the next podcast maybe, but keep going.
so if we're ending it, then
yeah.
does anybody else know what today is?
Today is
Today is the 3rd year anniversary of us not dying thanks to the Mayans being wrong.
Yes.
Oh,
I
wow.
just want to take a moment to recognize all the games we would never have been able to play.
Whoa. Maybe we are dead.
Ooh.
It's actually lost. We're actually the island and lost. All right, we're all dead.
And
Except we're trapped at our computers, which is fine
well,
by
I-
me.
well, I would like to take a moment to recognize them, but the only ones I could think of were Skyforge and Elder Scrolls Online. So
So Matt, did you know anybody like in real life that was like really dead set on this Mayan thing being accurate?
no.
I did. We did.
Yeah, I did too.
I know there were people panicking, and I heard about riots and stuff, but
Some guy legit asked me. He's like, "I have a bunker in Iowa with some friends. Do you want to come?" I said, "No, I'm good."
I'll take my chances.
The world is ending. It's going to explode.
Your poker
Therefore,
won't save you.
No, but they were no. Different people had different like ideas, right? Like this guy thought a comet would come near the Earth, and like the gravitational forces would cause volcanoes and earthquakes. But
Planet X.
but the world wouldn't blow up. That was he was more of like a calamity kind of guy, you know.
Calamity? That sounds like calamari.
Well, I like
Calamari right now.
All right, well, that's it for the podcast. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. I know there's some technical issues on Twitch. We'll have that figured out for next time.
We're
Again,
playing Air Hunt entirely.
well, remember our goal was 2016 January to do it live. So this, consider this early access, and you guys just paid for the bugs. And so there you go.
Early, there you go. Everything goes full circle with the founders packs, all right?
All right, so say your goodbyes, guys. Let's hurry this up.
All right, later, guys.
See ya.
take care.
All right, there it is.